Hey guys, today we are gonna do a quick 10-minute ab workout. All you're gonna need is an exercise mat, and we're gonna get started with a plank series, so let's go ahead and get down there and get started. All right, first thing we're gonna start out with is our plank. We wanna have those shoulders stacked right on top of those wrists, that back flatten in line. We don't want any arch in that lower back or let that belly sink or that booty rise up. If you need to take the modification, feel free to go down onto those knees, but still make sure we're keeping a proper straight line all the way from our head down to our hips. Quick little rest right here, stretch out those wrists if you need to, shake it out. We're going right back up for another plank. This next plank is going to be with a knee drive, so we're gonna hop up into our plank and drive that knee as close to your chest as possible. We're also gonna take 2 knee drives out to the side to hit those obliques, so we're going 2 just straight front and then 2 to the side, aiming for those knees to hit those elbows. The more you contract that core, the more you're gonna feel it. Coming on down, rest it out one more time. We are moving on to a plank oblique twist. This plank we're gonna be doing onto our elbows. Now with this one, we wanna try to get our hips as far to each side of our mat as possible without really resting down there. You can lift those hips a little bit higher than normal just to increase that range of motion in that core. We wanna make sure we are keeping that core tight the entire time and keeping those shoulders stacked right on top of those elbows. All right, come on down. We are moving into our side planks now. With these side planks, again, you can do them either on your elbow or on your hand. We just wanna make sure we're keeping a straight line all the way from our head to the bottom of our toes. If you need to take that modification, go ahead and drop the knees down while still maintaining that straight line. We're doing little dips here with our hips. We wanna contract those obliques every time we pull up and not sink too far down. Quick switch right over to the other side on that other arm. Again, wanting to make sure we're keeping everything in a straight line, not swaying your booty too far forward, and having everything stacked right on top of yourself. All right, great news. We are done with our planks. We are moving into some V-sits now. So with these V-sits, we wanna make sure we're leaned back as much as we can control without falling backwards to really try and challenge ourselves. You can move those arms higher for a little bit of extra burn in those abs, but if it becomes too much for you, simply drop them back down. Another good modification for this is keeping those heels on the ground and leaning back a little bit further if you don't quite have this balance yet. From here, we're gonna move straight into our Russian twist. So we're gonna drop those heels and immediately start twisting from side to side. We wanna try and touch our mat or get as close as possible to each side to really make sure we are twisting in those obliques. And remember to breathe as much as you can during this. I like to exhale every time I twist. Just kind of helps you get through it a little bit and maintain that breath. From here, moving right into some V-sit leg raises. We have our arms back behind us and we're taking those legs straight up and straight down while keeping that core tight. If this gets a little bit too difficult, go ahead and drop onto your elbows and still maintain those legs going up and down. What we don't want to do is have those legs hit the mat at any time. We want to keep them hovering as much as possible, even if that means we can't go down as far. Next, we're doing our V-sit leg outs. So we have our arms back behind us and we're just gonna be pushing those legs out and in, contracting that core every time we bring those knees to our chest. The lower you have your legs, the closer they are to the mat, the more it's gonna burn in that core. So keep that in mind as you're playing around with what level suits you best. Next thing, we are moving right back down to our mat for our crunches. We are done with our V-sits. From here on out, we are on our back. So we're gonna be moving into these crunches, remembering to keep our abs doing more of the work. We don't wanna just pull our neck up with our arms, and we wanna try to get those shoulders off of the ground for every single crunch. I always like to think on crunches of keeping my belly button tucked into my spine. Just helps you engage that core a little bit more than if you were to not think about it. Next thing we're moving into is our reverse crunch combo. So on this one, we're gonna lift those legs straight up in the air. We're gonna lift our hips and then drop the legs as low as we can without touching the mat. So when you're lifting those hips, you're using those bottom two lower abs, which is one of the hardest abs to hit and to get. Make sure that you're not touching the ground with those legs. We're still just hovering right over that mat. From here, moving into our oblique crunches. So this first one, we're going to take our knees all the way to the side, but we're gonna be crunching straight up into the air. We don't wanna be fully twisted quite yet. So try to get both of those shoulders aimed at the ceiling or the sky, wherever you're working out at. Now we're gonna open it up all the way to a full side. So look over towards your side, and we wanna be crunching in that oblique, driving that elbow to the hip. Just hits a little bit differently than the other side. And we're gonna switch it over right over to the other side. Same thing, so we're stacking our knees on top of each other, crunching straight up into the sky. And now switching it over to the other one, opening it up, looking at the side, and really crunching in that oblique, driving that elbow to the hip. From here, we are moving into circle crunches. So all we're doing is taking our head and our shoulders around to one side. We're gonna circle it out one side at a time and then reverse halfway through. This is a really great way to kind of hit every single little ab all at once in this circular motion. And we're switching directions. So go ahead and go to your other side, same thing, yeah? Lift as high as you can, try to get both shoulders off of the ground. Next thing we're moving to is our dead bugs. So we wanna have our back pressed flat against the ground, and we're reaching the opposite arm as leg out towards our mat. But again, not touching the ground, we're just hovering that arm and that leg. It's a really great low impact core exercise. We're not pulling on that neck, we're laying flat on the floor, but it's really working all of our abs. Moving next into our bicycle crunches. Now you can take these at a fast pace, but I like to do them a little more slow and controlled. I find that if I hold each crunch to the side a little bit longer, it actually helps activate my abs a little more than going for those speed bicycle crunches that people are used to. We want to aim to have that elbow touching that knee or getting as close to it as possible. And last but not least, we are gonna move into some full sit-ups. So we wanna make sure we are not hiking ourselves up there, but using that core to come up and come back down. If your abs are totally burnt at this point, Feel free to just crunch it out for these last 20 seconds. And we are done. All right, let's stretch out those abs a little bit. We're gonna do some Cobra stretches. First off, just starting regular Cobra, we wanna make sure our shoulders are pressed as far away from our ears as possible. That way we can get more focus onto our core. And now I like to adjust my Cobras a little bit by putting one hand slightly in front of the other. Helps hit those obliques that we definitely worked a lot. So just switching up that Cobra position will really take that stretch to a new level for you. And finishing out with one last big Cobra, go ahead and look up to the sky, push it back into that child's pose, just to reverse all that stretch we just did. And amazing work, you guys. Amazing work today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at serious.danceandfitness for fun workout tips and nutrition advice. Always remember to stay hydrated and eat right.